Kim Bailey, great to see you ahead of a big weekend for your horse, First Flow, running in the Matchbook Clarence House, taking on the big guns, if you like, in the 2 mile division. What chance do you give yourself?
Uh, well, someone asked me yesterday about it, and I have to say it's not going to be like slicing butter with a hot knife. It's going to be a hard old race. And it's going to be very difficult. He deserves to be there because he's a progressive individual. But is he good enough to win this race? I think probably not. But having said that, he won't let us down. He's a tough old individual.
Well, and that's the thing. And if you look at, if this was in the springtime on good to soft ground, then maybe you wouldn't be lining up. I don't know. But if he's going to win this and going to take his chance, he's doing it, isn't he, in ideal conditions for him?
Yeah, I mean, he's an extraordinary individual because he's got no right to be the racehorse he is. I mean, he's got very little pedigree. He's a complete freak at home. He absolutely thrives on heavy ground, and David Bass will tell you that heavy ground feels like good ground for him. And when he won at Ascot last time, it was good. It was soft ground, good to soft. And he said it rode like good to firm on him. So, he's going to have his conditions, which is the reason why we're running, because at the end of it, it's his Gold Cup or his Champion Chase. Call it what you like. It's his big day. And it'd be great to see him finish in the first three. It'd be great to see him win, but it's a big ask. But having said that, they've all got to slog through the same ground.
Absolutely. Tell me a bit more about this freak at home. Why do you describe him such?
Well, he's just a very odd horse. I bought him off Kerry Fanshawe. She rang me up. She bought him as an unbroken 3-year-old for I think £2,000 or £3,000 at Goffs or somewhere like that. And she rang me up and said, with Robert, her husband, they rang me up and said, "Look, will you come and watch this horse work? He's been with Brendan Powell, and we think he's quite special." And they sent the pedigree across, and I thought, well, they're joking. So anyway, I went and watched him work, and I took a particularly slow horse with him, and he went better than that. And we sat round and did a little deal afterwards, and I sold him to Tony Solomons, who was looking at that stage for a replacement for Harry Topper, and they're very similar horses. Neither of them probably ever had the right to be as good as they turned out to be. Both of them absolutely loved heavy ground, and both of them will run through a brick wall for you. So, he's an oddball, and he goes out on his own every day, does everything differently. He turns out regularly. He's just a weird individual, but a lovable one at the same time.
So for anybody watching who isn't aware of Tony Solomons and your relationship and the green and black of his colours and Harry Topper and First Flow in recent years, I suppose, it always seems that with Tony's horses there's a great story around them, and certainly those two have surpassed expectations.
Well, absolutely. And Tony's been probably my most loyal supporter. He's been with me since the second season I've been training. So he is my longest serving owner. He's obviously in his mid-40s now. So, he's a great man, and he's been incredibly supportive and loyal. And if anybody deserves to have a horse like he has, it's great because, he's an Ascot member. He goes racing in Ascot. Obviously, he won't be on Saturday, but he's always asked me to run his horses Ascot where I can if I thought they had a chance of running well there. And First Flow's been there quite a few times now.
Well, perfect that the Matchbook Clarence House is at Ascot, a track he's won at before. He's also been placed there. And just going through his record, 15 starts over obstacles, 9 of them in the winner's enclosure, I think. Only twice has he not been in the first 3, so he's terribly consistent.
He is. My big worry is that he had a pretty hard race at Wetherby, and that wasn't that long ago. But he does seem in good form, and he, as I say, we have to go. It is his Gold Cup, and the alternative is waiting for Sandown 10 days later and going and running the handicap, which he ran in last year. But he's going to be carrying top weight. It becomes a different ball game, and a Grade 1 £100,000 race. Well, that's fine. I mean, he won a race at Ascot the other day or beginning of the season. It was 125,000 last year. It was 25,000 this year. So he deserves to have a pot, to go at a big pot.
And that weight carrying performance you talked of last time, I think there's something about that, just watching it back. It really, people watching really buy into that, I think. It's great in a handicap when you get a horse that's very well treated carrying a low weight, yes. But that was a really gutsy effort from him. And that's him, is it? He can lump those big weights because you say he'll run through a brick wall for you.
Yeah, he's extraordinary. That day was, I have to say, it was an extraordinary one because there was a horse of Dan Skelton's which got an absolute flyer at the start. I mean, it cantered through the start gate. And we were playing catch up from that moment onwards. So at no stage during the race did I feel confident that we were going to win. Although he was a short price favourite, he was giving lumps of weight away to everybody, and just sheer guts, and a fantastic jump at the last. And he got up on the line. but David Bass adores the horse and trusts him, and I'm very thankful that he's riding him, because he just gets on so well with him.
I think there's something about their partnership which we see with quite a few horses, particularly those prominent racers. And we talk about when David sees a stride and he sees it on first flow. They work so well together in unison. They have carved out an excellent partnership.
They have, probably as mad as each other, really. And if you go back to Ascot, I mean, frankly, he saw a stride in the last fence there when he ran there in November that really wasn't there. And I mean, if he hadn't have got it right, I hate to think where they'd have ended up, because it was an impossible situation for him, and the horse answered every question for him. And he's got a long neck. He's just very unbalanced. He hangs to the left. He hangs to the right. His back legs go in different directions. There's absolutely nothing about coordination that works for the horse. But as an individual, good horses are usually freaks, and I would be so chuffed if we can actually add one more win to his name.
How do you approach Saturday, Kim, with regards to how the race is going to unfold? If there's an opportunity to lead, will you?
Well, the great thing is, David Bass likes to be very forward on all his horses, so especially on mine. So there's every chance that we will be pretty close to the front when we go to the first fence. But I think everybody else in the race will know that. They're pretty used to seeing what happens. And that's really where the last time he ran at Ascot surprises, because he was, he just couldn't get the front. He was absolutely flat out from the word go, and they went unbelievably quickly. And he gradually got himself back in the race, which I thought was something I never expected him to go and do. So I was thrilled with that performance.
Before his win last time, was there ever a chance that were you thinking about this race, or was it really what he did last time that made you think we have to make the step up?
No, we always had this in the back of our mind. It was very much a race that, because conditions are usually very soft here, and he likes Ascot. And if you take away the favourite as the non-runner, which is not going to happen, but if for some extraordinary reason Paul Nicholls decided to take Politologue somewhere else, then obviously it was a hugely tempting target. But we've got to go for it. We've got to go. I mean, there's no point sitting at home and saying if only. We've got to actually take the bull by the horn and get on with it.
And the last thing I want to do is tempt fate, but it is worth pointing out that you and the team have been pretty relentless this season, and you've just continued to find winners. It's been an excellent season for you, and I suppose First Flow has been a shining light of that.
Well, he's been, he's run twice this season and won both occasions. He won his last 3 starts last season. And we've had a fantastic season, and long may it continue. And we've got a lot of nice horses run in the spring, and we haven't got that many horses run on this really relentless ground, which is we're facing at the moment. But this horse loves it, and ever hopeful he'll run an absolute blinder for us.
Kim, thanks so much. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thomas Starr, as always, thank you very much for having me on.